Hey, and we're live at Spence. Good to see you guys. It's my live update for Tuesday, October 28th, 425. I'm trying to keep the streak going. Today, a lot of updates. I'm just going to jump right into it because you can hear from my voice. I'm tired, man. It's been a lot of fun, but right now we're in what I call crunch mode. I've been onboarding a bunch of new MinuteLaunch customers and really showing some results. Have tons of updates. So let's bring it in. And start with the basics. I'm going to show you where to begin. I'm going to start with the dashboard itself. We have a bunch of new components that I put into place, some of them successful, some of them not. And so I'm going to adjust my expectations on a few things, but I'm going to show you why they've been replaced by others. All right. First of all, we have right here, MinuteLaunch. Let's open this up. Spent an inordinate amount of time over the weekend improving the distribution system and management so I can scale this bad boy up to more than hundreds of clients, into thousands, perhaps tens of thousands or more. We base this on the idea of virtual software. We have the traditional WordPress software that we deliver through the launch kit, but even that has gotten an update in the MinuteLaunch launch kit system. The virtual software means that you get all of the systems you need to run your office in a box hosted on rocket.net with an optimized CDN. Safe, secure, you own the data. You don't have to worry about updates because you can see here with version 2.46 that we're on, I've now got automated delivery of updates and management of the sites if there's any kind of technical problem, cache clearing, special safety features, and more. So all of the plugins here, even though they look and act like regular plugins, they're actually delivered virtually. It is true that the software itself that I'm giving you runs as long as you have a relationship, but what you create with it is yours. It's always yours. It stays with the site. And for those things like Spence Style, I learned a lot this week that I'm going to talk about in a second about how to actually deliver that. So my original concept was to have special boxes that put the HTML and the CSS in a different spot than the normal content area so that it could be managed. The downside of that I realized was, what happens if somebody wants to leave? Well, it would kind of suck because the stuff is not in the standard location. I mean, it would still go with you, but your other tools would be looking for it inside of the content area. So I've adjusted that slightly, and in my next release of Spence Style, the content that it manages will be in the middle of the regular content area. No big deal. I also wanted to make it for bulletproofness, so in case there was some problem with the virtual delivery system, that nobody would have their content orphaned, right? We need to make sure that your sites are always running, always safe, always secure. So that's been a priority, and I'm getting better at some of the tools through, thankfully, the help of you guys, my clients. Number two, the delivery of the traditional software. The package pricing that I have is $97 for the current WP launch kit, which I call MinuteLaunch now. That's the traditional combination of three things: a fully hosted site, optimized CDN, high-level security, rocket.net, unlimited email support from me, and the bundle of about 108 plugins. You can see them here through the MinuteLaunch delivery system. This is an upgrade from the regular 122 plugins. Probably about $5,000 or $6,000 of retail value. They're all open source and they're all the latest versions. This is the same thing as an agency that everybody else does, but instead of you bugging your agency for upgrading things, you can either click and install it yourself, or you can just go ahead and have your MCP do it. Ta-da! Which is really awesome, because if you've got, like here on my left, Claude, you can basically make sure that he takes care of managing all your latest updates. And I built another system for this that allows me to make sure that they're all up to date without, I mean, I've been good about it, but without me having to every morning click a button and, push things around. Came up with a tool called MinuteLaunch Design Clone. And the reason for that is the holy grail has been, can we design and build stuff that looks at another site and says, I want that? Why is that important? Let's go to the zoom in for Spence on that. That's important because many of you have client sites or your own sites that are built with legacy software or page builders or even old-fashioned HTML and CSS, and you want to bring it over into the look and feel of your MinuteLaunch setup. Well, that's actually no problem now, because the tools that we have are either a Chrome developer tools with an MCP, which is a lot of words. It's requiring you to just install something extra in Claude so he or she gets the vision. Or my concept was, what if I put a plugin in place that would allow your actual website to discover another website and find out everything that's under the hood using the very same technology as Chrome developer tools. And so this is a tool that I'm still testing out, but it's giving me some good results. Let me show you some of the things that I had. I have a client, Doug, that I'm working with here, who's got a site that he built with bricks that is for some Formula One race car driving. We went to Claude. He has the MinuteLaunch MCP. He has the other Spence Style tools. He has the new design clone tool. And we basically said, here's a site, go look at it. Let's reproduce it, but let's reproduce it in HTML5 using the publishing tools that we're talking about. I then upped the ante and I said, hey, Claude, let's show Doug how we can make a site that has like a form for entry and can actually dynamically update the catchphrase on the site or the button about who it's for, because we're going to ultimately build a plugin around that concept. And so here's what he built. First of all, I'm super duper impressed that what he was able to build. Don't worry about the rest of this, because this is all part of what I'm going to tell you. He made a skill document to teach Doug's Claude how to build what he built. So I gave him the instruction. I gave him the model. He used the tools in MinuteLaunch. He built this clone in native HTML5. He built this form that I could go, hi, Bobby, let's do this. And it will change the catchphrase, and let's change it from Stuart to Bobby. I update the page just to demonstrate, and it can dynamically change the output. You can see where this is going, because the business model in this case for drivers is that we're going to be having a roster of drivers that all have their own sites, and we want to be able to essentially create any kind of content anywhere with what I call Mad Libs process. Replace the video, replace the name, replace the title, replace the content, and do it in a way that either the human or the MCP can take care of. The skills document is fascinating because this is an example, even though he styled it, very heavy, like the theme of the page that he was given. This is an example of the tools getting better themselves, because I can tell Claude, my Claude, use a skill document here to learn how to do something, use the tool here from MinuteLaunch AI, use the website here connected to that website there, and build a duplicate. I've got a similar example of that here with my other client, Alyssa. She was using a lot of heavy plugins in the past to manage her content, LearnDash and BuddyBoss and all kinds of stuff. One of the things I learned here about the content creation was, at first we were going to do totally dynamic pages. So for example, this page is built with bricks. This page is built completely independently. And I forget if this is just placeholders, but normally it just scroll down to the section. We only built the homepage header. That was it. This page is built completely dynamically with HTML5 by Claude. This is a hybrid. This, because we wanted to make use of the complex nature of how the menus might be, we're using the top piece of bread of Cadence theme and the bottom piece of bread for the footer of Cadence theme. And that gives us human control, but also Claude, let me move to the bigger screen there. Claude can also adjust these controls in Cadence. So when I connect him to the site, he can actually set the menu, turn on a menu, put new pieces in. Today I was working with another colleague of mine, and he installed the WooCommerce that he needed in order to create a product page before generating the AI image. The point I'm saying is, you can have a fully legacy site that works only with WordPress. You can manage it yourself and spend hours and days. But you can have Claude, or in this case, Cursor, do the content editorial for you, either completely with navigation and footer nav, or just doing the content separately and then doing the navigation with, again, their help with the traditional tools of the theme. Sorry about my voice. So you'll notice here, the Spence Style had the two boxes in the bottom. I've just moved the same concept in this prototype, where it's the two boxes But now they're inline boxes. And because of the way that we're doing it now, they can be read by any tool. If I inspected this, the output is now inside of where it would be expected to be, right? So we're inside of the entry content, and it's not any longer in a special box. A very minor but distinct thing. In the media library, we added some new tools, and I explored some different things that was pretty crazy. One of the things that was amazing to me was how well I was able to make all kinds of content. So I had my friend Vince DePinto over and another client friend of mine, Deneen, and we made a couple things I want to show you. One, and I don't know if I showed this in the last video because they were just over yesterday. One of them was a set of tools like templates that you can give to Claude through the MinuteLaunch system that says, these are the kind of layouts that I want to work with. Think of it like reading off of a menu. I want the number 2. I want the number 3. I want the lunch special. If you give him a model of the layout, he can go ahead and use that and then apply whatever content and style that you are asking him to. Much easier than if you just sort of randomly say, make me a page that does some stuff. Okay. Let me click over. I'll open this up and I'll show you an example of some of the pages and so forth. So hold on one second. These are all demo sites with all the junk running. So let me click there. And let's see, for example, what I was talking about with the templates was I said, Claude, make me, I'm going to sort it by order, 1024. I have a lot of stuff in here, so forgive me. I want to look for the word template. I have a thing on the front that helps me figure it out, but let me sort these by date. That'll be easier. This is alphabetical. That's what's throwing me off. And my voice is rough from talking all day on 5 hours sleep. I'm also experimenting with some of the tools being turned off. Most of the tools I have now on don't need to be on all the time. That's another issue too. So I did this sales page layout library for Vince, because Vince is a graphic artist, a professional. He's been designing stuff for 45 years. I mean, the original Max, I remember going to his office, his home office with his dad, and it was really fun in those days. They were cutting stuff out of pictures and paper before that with X-Acto blades. Nevertheless, this is a sales page layout library of, let's say, 5 or 6 layouts that have popular things that you can tell by name the tool to use. I apologize for the slowness just because I've got every single thing turned on here, so it's a little draggy on the back end. This also has a bunch of other things like LearnDash in it and stuff, so hang in there. Okay, so for example, layout 1, and by the way, don't pay attention to the black and blue. That was just random, but layout 1, it's a hero and a call to action. Number 2 is problem solution. Number 3, featured showcase. Number 4, social proof master. Number 5, story sales letter. So I could be like, I'll have the number 1, then the number 3 with the number 4. Hold the pickles. Okay, what does that do? That then can generate a layout, right? And I got to do the one that's right after this. So this is library at 1219. And then we made this page. This was an image and content and color schemes from another business page that we had made, including an AI image of a girl with a crystal rock that was not a real girl and not a real rock. No, it was the real image of the crystal, though. We just had it take away the original image background and mat it onto a new picture of a turntable with a girl. But the important thing to see here is that when I actually put this page together, I just told it use the number 1 with the number 2 layout, and it instantly knew what to do. And I think that's the secret of where we're going with this, is that we're not going to have to tell it so much words or tell it so much go explore pages, although it can do that. Instead, we're going to be like, I'm going to build a library, maybe, I don't know, 10, 20, 50, 100 different common layouts. We see this now in, the theme builders. Like Cadence has like an AI library, has design components. But in this case, these can be researched based upon contemporary actual websites that are really doing stuff. I'm not saying picking on the Hormozis, but like if you wanted to, you could go to the Hormozi site and have the tool go make me that. I know for a fact that their stuff was made with Shopify, right? So I'll do some testing of this in the real world. And next time I'll do a demo, I'll preload the pages for you. Sorry about that. So here we go. Number one is the hero with the call to action button. That girl is totally obviously invented, and so is the image of the stuff. The rock, the crystal on the clay is real, but it used to be on a different background. Here's the problem solution. The color scheme is based upon what he used for the original elegant sales page. He actually made the product that is linked to this, and it's ready to go, ready to buy. So I was very impressed. These are 3 examples, among others, of how far we've come. The other part about it is auto memory has been really helpful. Using projects and Claude has been very helpful. I learned one last thing, and I'll call it a day, is that Claude is really good. The MCP connection is really good if you want him to make stuff, research stuff, design stuff, change stuff. It's not good to do repetitive long-term things. Like if you wanted to migrate content from one site to another, it's better to just download the whole dump of the old site and have him work on the desktop than to try to have him move it from A to B, because he only possesses like his arms to hold the stuff, and he just makes 1,000 trips. And then with Claude, he runs out of tokens, or with Cursor, he doesn't run out of tokens. But I'll show you an example. I was doing a database project today for one of my clients, Alyssa, where she has some old stuff. And even though by the way, I style, you might notice there's Claude and here's Fernando. Fernando got a makeover to look like Claude. You'll notice that I have him using all kinds of tools. So I had Cursor, who has much, much greater capability to do hard work because he doesn't run out of tokens ever. I had him doing a project connected through our new Cursor connection instead of Claude connection to the website. And I said, go find in that old site all of her old Vimeo videos with links and download them into a table along with the titles and figure out what they're about, put the metadata so that she can use it for creating new content. And it was really interesting because even though Cursor can do the hard work, he just was going at it and at it and at it. And you can see at the end, I finally was like, he found the 285 videos, but to just process them one by one at the website was insane. It wasn't working out. So I told him, I said, get the CSV, which he did. And here it is. Look at that, all those videos. But then I was saying to him, just process this locally. And he's still kind of trying to figure out what to do, because you can see my last thing before this video was, I said, dude, you've been at this forever. What's going on? And he's like, I'm overcomplicated. I already have a database. Let me parse this file and get on with it. And he started doing it with this script. And let's see what his final answer was, because he's much harder worker. What did you finally come up with? And he's at 61%. He might need me to put that into a new chat, which I could do, but let's see what he says. And I'll open him in a bigger view so you can see. Get down, Claude. Claude tried to jump in the way there and steal the thunder. Okay. He says, found 285 videos, got a clean CSV. The videos are there. Bottom line, I could see that I would say, okay, I gave you a project though. What's the result of your project to try to get those out and put them into a table that I can see with the metadata? If that's done, let me know, and let me know if you can present it to me. So these are the kind of things that I have 4 or 5, 6 agents working on, different projects in different windows at one time. It's really remarkable. And in some ways it's just, wow. But it also, last night, it was up till 2 a.m. It's kind of addictive because I have an army, like I'm running a taxi stand. I have an army of drivers doing all kinds of stuff. And all of a sudden I'm just all night long, just endlessly working. Okay, he did it. Here's what he's got. 118 rows of full metadata You can open an Excel or Google Sheets right now. Interestingly, Cursor, unlike Claude Desktop, he has a canvas and he can make stuff, but generally speaking, I have him post it or show it or do stuff. Let me ask him, do you have any canvas that you can show me this right now that would be visually appealing, or is it just a table? Because he has access to my accounts. He can post it up for me, but we can just look at it as a table. You guys understand what a spreadsheet is. Oh, okay. So he's going to make a page for me, which is very nice of him. So these are the things that I do also sometimes, which it's really funny. No, I don't want to close that chat. It's really funny, but if you start talking to them long enough, they do begin to take on their own personalities, and you can see the behavior. Not only does he remember me from auto memory, but he also performs differently than Claude does. Claude is like Morgan Freeman driving Jessica Tandy around in a limo or in a car and driving Miss Daisy. He's nice, he's chill, he's just you. It's him and me. We're having fun. Cursor is more like Danny DeVito in Taxi and all the rest of the characters. It's like 12 drivers, and they all have personalities, and they're all just doing crazy amounts of stuff all the time. Let's see what happens. Double click the HTML. And I always tell them, I don't know if that's a clickable link. Can you make that a clickable link? Sometimes for outside websites, I ask them for a clickable link because I'm lazy, but I can just copy and paste. No big deal. He can't make it. Okay, so let's not be that lazy, Spence. Let's just click copy. You can do it, Spence, and paste. That didn't work out. Hold on. There's no possible way that's right. So I think what he meant is to, here it is. Here's my local file. That's what he meant. Let's see if we get a result. Navigate to the file. I can open for you. Yeah, let's do that. For some reason or another, I can't click and run it in a browser. Can you just open it for me, please? He's got access to Chrome Developer Tools. He could open a browser for me. He's being very unusual with how he's going about this, which again, personality-wise, I find it fascinating because I would train him to just give it to me. But he's futzing around here. So I'm just going to grab this, which I think will work. There we go. Okay. So ultimately, he built me a faceted search. But it's kind of blank. So it doesn't have the data in it, which is what he's saying. Okay, I see the interface. Could you please connect the CSV file to it? Because there's no data connected. I can see just the search fields. So this is another example of how, you know, maybe it takes him 1 or 2 tries. He's just doing his best. I'll give him the URL. But, the CSV path is wrong. Let me fix it. Once he gets it, it'd be super cool because then I can take this and I can put it inside of Alyssa's site, or we can put it inside of his files, and either Alyssa or Cursor or her Claude or any of us can access this data, which will be useful for making new content in the future. He's really making an effort with it, but let's see if we get a result. It's kind of kismet, but very powerful when I think about it. There we go. Worth the wait? Abso-freaking-lutely, because this is a lot of stuff. And now, again, she's doing training videos. She's a chiropractor. Let's say I really needed to figure out different things. Balance. He built me an engine to go through her old stuff. I can kind of tell you without telling too much where this is going. We're building a tool that she's going to get the benefit of first, and you guys will next, where you can have dynamic content creation based upon the data from your own content, your videos, your courses, your lessons, or from your customer experiences. And then that will combine with the video maker and otherwise as well as her library, allows somebody to get unlimited access and answers to a client who, let's say, is a member. And this goes to her actual video. Ta-da, there she is. So I don't know if this is like catching on with you guys, but the kind of stuff I'm showing you now, this would have been Spencer torturing himself forever. And now I've got this data and I could say to him, look, okay, high fives and awesomeness. Do me a favor. I know you're not connected to her site right now. Make me an HTML5 demo of this. Go search Alyssa's site, search your auto memory for what her look and feel is. Give me the HTML5 all in one block so I can paste it on her site. And let's figure out where to put the CSV file. I think what we can do is probably upload the data to her site. Let me know what the best way is and produce that for me. So what I'm saying is, go knock this out, Fernando. He's taken the data. We're going to put it on her site in a format that's usable. We'll take the model of this thing, make it live. And then Alyssa can use it as a demo. We can use it as a basis for building other stuff. Madness ensues. All right, that's enough for my update. I'm going to go take my son to hockey and walk and stretch and then work some more. I have a few other things coming out tonight, including API manager for your keys that we provide or your own. I have updates to the MinuteLaunch MCP and the tools that it does, as well as the developer stuff. And I want everybody to understand too that I've started to change the pricing page, and I have the last final thing that I didn't tell you about, but I'll leave it for tomorrow, is my YouTube producer. So I'm going to use it for this. This video and all the content will be hopefully start to finish done by my YouTube Fluent CRM producer. I'm tired, but I'm so happy. I can't wait for you guys to join me. You go to wplaunchify.com or minutelaunch.com. Get this yourself, starting at $97 a month. Talk to you soon.